Welcome back to the Healing Hotline. I'm your host, Jessica Tranbarger, and today we have a few topics to talk about. So the main topic of today's video is going to be twin flames, but there was somebody that wrote into the show and they had a couple questions about, they want to know what was a cutoff point for my family. So I wanted to touch on that first, and then we're going to get into twin flames. All right, so let's get into it. Also, since the last episode, my skin has made a drastic change. If you're watching this podcast episode on YouTube, I'll put a little video up over to show you my progress and show you how, like, I've literally cleared the cystic acne that I had. It's insane, okay? So I literally just started talking nicer to myself, and then the universe led me to a few different things. The main thing that I was led to do was to cut back heavily, significantly on dairy. Pretty much almost dairy free, but I'm a little bit miserable when I'm totally dairy free, so I feel like a good balance is exactly what I need. Really cutting back on the dairy helped with the inflammation a lot, because when you really think about it, cystic acne is hormonal, and dairy is extremely hormonal as well, so you're just putting more and more hormones in there. So I just wanted to give y'all an update. So yes, the skin is looking amazing. So yes, talk better to yourself and get to the root of your problem, because then you're gonna heal your shit. Okay, all right, I wasn't bullshitting. So they basically said, like, how do I feel with those family members, and what was my breaking point cutting them off? So I literally just made a list, because I do consider myself the cutoff queen. As soon as my spirit team gives me the green light, you are out of there, okay? It's really as simple as that. And sometimes I do get a little sad, yes, but at the end of the day, I know if my spirit team is asking me to cut somebody off, my life is going to get better. So I get more excited about how much better my life is than the other shit. But another reason why I don't get sad is because they have already checked off these few things on my list that I'm about to give you, and that just makes it so much easier. Okay, so how to know when to cut someone off. Number one, anxiety. Whenever they call, text, or around, like, you see their name popping up in your phone and you immediately get that anxiety feeling. If you're not really sure what anxiety feels like, it feels like butterflies. It feels like your heart dropping to your stomach, okay? That butterfly feeling that we thought was love, it's actually not love, it's actually anxiety, which is why you felt that way with the most toxic people ever, and you crave that, but you don't realize that you're craving anxiety, okay? So anxiety is like the number one thing, because your body is literally telling you this thing, this person, this situation, whatever it is, because you get anxiety from more than just when people pop up in your phone. But for this situation, it's telling you this person is no longer aligned with me, and like it's literally causing you like distress when you are seeing them or when you're hearing about them, because it could even be like the person's name pops up in like conversation. You feel that anxiety, you automatically know. Your second one is going to be the pendulum confirmation. Okay, so once you feel that anxiety, you're like, oh shit, ask your pendulum, is this person still supposed to be in my life? You might not feel the need to ask your pendulum right after you feel that first little hit of anxiety, but you're going to get a lot of signs and synchronicities that are going to tell you it's time, it's time, it's time. And if you don't act, then the universe is going to act for you. And while some of y'all might be like, cool, I'm going to tell you right now, it's more painful that way. Like, yes, you don't have to do it, but the way that it's going to be done is more painful than you just being like, hey, you know what? We just need to take a step away, or I can't do this no more. I'm not fucking with you. And honestly, some people that I have cut off, like not family members, but some people that I have cut off, I just ghosted them. Sometimes you have to ghost them. You feel like you can't be yourself around them, they're definitely gonna have to go, because as you just keep growing and elevating more and more and more, you're gonna be shedding every single layer of inauthenticity. And as soon as all of those layers are gone, you're not gonna want to like those people probably aren't even going to want to be around you, okay? But a lot of times, in order for you to grow, you have to get rid of these people, because like, I don't know, have you ever felt shy about something and then like you get rid of the audience and then all of a sudden like you're flourishing? That is it. Like, those people are the audience. Those people in your life, they are the audience. They are the thing that keeps you from like really dancing and being free as if you were by yourself. They're that energy. Those are how you know that you need to cut somebody off. Like, if you're now let's just be so fucking real. If you're contemplating cutting somebody off, cut them off. Cut them off. What I would always do is just make sure that you got that validation from your spirit team, because that way you're making sure that it's not your ego. So just go ahead and ask your pendulum, take your ego out of the equation, and be like, okay, am I supposed to cut this person off? And remember, it's only up from there. So there's no reason. You can be sad about it. You can cry. You can grieve. You can do all the things. But just remember that this is all for the betterment of you, and that greater things are coming. These people will always be replaced with something better. The universe doesn't take shit away just to give you nothing. It's always an equal energetic exchange. Now on to the twin flames. This topic might be really triggering for some people. I don't care. Triggers help you heal. All right, first things first, before we get into this, let's be really clear. Some people do not have twin flames in this lifetime, okay? If you are a very new soul, you more than likely don't have a twin flame. That is okay. That means that you can establish a twin flame later on. Maybe in this lifetime, or maybe in another lifetime, or maybe you have to go in the astral realm. Explore, play, but don't be so like trying to force shit to happen, okay? The best way to know if somebody is your twin flame or not is to ask your pendulum. But that's not the end all be all, because sometimes your pendulum will tell you yes if you're supposed to still stay with that person. The best thing that you can do, whip your pendulum out and ask, do I have a twin flame in this lifetime? The next question that you will ask is, have I already met them in person in this lifetime? And then you'll pretty much go from there and explore, okay? But here's the thing. Not every twin flame is romantic, okay? Some people's twin flame is their sibling. Some people's twin flame is their pet. Yes, I know. When I explain to you what exactly encompasses the twin flame relationship, you will see why it's more than just romantic relationships that make up a twin flame. For you to have a life where you are with your twin flame, it requires a lot of lifetimes, it requires a lot of healing, and it requires a lot of growth, okay? So if anything, if you find out that you don't have a twin flame, this is your chance to really take healing seriously. Take your spiritual journey seriously, because it's a reward. If you think that your twin flame is toxic, it is either a false twin flame, not really your twin flame. The universe might be just making you think it's your twin flame because it's the best for your mind right now. Or you're toxic and they're mirroring the toxicity to you. Now, when I tell people that it's mirroring them, people always get their panties in the bunch, because they say, I don't do that exact thing, so how can it be mirroring me? A mirror does not show you your exact reflection. A mirror shows you an inverted version of you. They're going to flip it. They might make it probably a lot more dramatic than what you do, but you have to find like the pattern. Once you heal, and if you're really taking your healing journey seriously, and you really about that life, and really on your shit mentally, physically, spiritually, if you're really on your shit, your twin flame is going to mirror that growth. That is like a big thing that you will know, is like, that's why they come back around when you start growing and stuff like that. If they are not mirroring your growth in some way, shape, or form, it's not going to be the same. Remember, they're not going to be out here whipping out their pendulums and their crystals, or maybe they are, maybe they're that, and you're the one that's like not too woo woo. They're gonna mirror your growth in some way, shape, or form. Their mindset is probably elevated. Their concept about life has probably elevated since you've been doing a lot of elevating yourself. Okay, they're going to mirror you. In the twin flame dynamic, there is something called the runner. This is essentially what it sounds like. The runner, the person that is running from the relationship. They either think they're not ready or they're just afraid, blah, 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 whatever it is. There's always a runner, okay? It's probably subconsciously they know that this relationship is going to force them to heal on a deeper level, and their ego is like, hell no. No, let's run. Okay, it says let's run. So I was the runner in my relationship. My husband and I are in a twin flame relationship, and I'm going to tell you guys how you know these things. But I was definitely the runner in my relationship. I had just gotten out of a serious relationship that was like 2-3 years long or something like that, right before I was with my husband, and he was just supposed to be like, you know, the what's it called, I was just thinking like, this is my little rebound thing, this is a little thing to help me, you know, get through my breakup, but it ended up being something even more. But yeah, I was definitely running from that shit. So twin flame is going to trigger you a lot, okay? Like every little fucking thing. There are so many little things that trigger me within my husband that really show me, oh my gosh, this is me. I need to heal this. I need to heal this, okay? But if you're not like dead set on healing yourself, like you just kind of fucking around with healing, you don't really take it seriously, you're not gonna enjoy a twin flame relationship. And that's a big reason why so many people run, because they're like, no, I'm not doing this healing. Are you crazy? You want me to look at myself and say I'm the bad guy? Fuck that. I'd rather just keep saying everyone else is a narcissist and toxic. I'd rather say the problem is everybody else. You know what I mean? Okay, so they're gonna mirror your shadow. Basically, your twin flame is gonna mirror your shadow. So that's why you may think that the stuff that they do, it has nothing to do with you. But that's why you have to dig deeper and like really analyze what it is that is happening in the situation and see, oh, okay, this is trying to show me something. Every single thing, twin flame, not twin flame, fucking work boss relationship, every single encounter, thing that you go through is showing you something. If you look deeper, you can always find a message, but it's just a matter of if you want the message, because sometimes people don't like the message, but the message has to be told. Your twin flame can really mirror your wounds and like completely open you up to healing on a whole new level. And that's exactly what happened with my husband and I. My husband and I took a shroom trip one day, and we literally saw our hands fusing into one. We were holding each other's hands, like interlocking fingers, and we saw us fusing into one body. It was crazy. It was mind-blowing. But right there we knew like, okay, that's the twin flame. It's like two coming together as one. So when you find your twin flame in this lifetime, you guys are supposed to heal together, heal each other, and not like, oh, I'm healing, so I have to sit him down and, you know, make him heal too. You heal each other in your own beautiful way where it's intentional, but it doesn't seem like it is. It's just like, oh, I mean, we're just having this conversation, but yeah, it was really healing. So anyway, we're having that beautiful experience. It's great. It's amazing. All of a sudden, we are laying down. All of a sudden, my husband decides that he wants to like basically like hover over on top of me or whatever. But he like grabs the blanket with him and like comes over me and like kind of like covers me with the blanket. And in that moment, I felt this dread. And I was asking myself, like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Who is he? Who is this person? And I'm telling I could hear my highest self telling me, like, that's your husband. That's your husband. That's, you know, he wasn't my husband at the time. And I was like, what the fuck was that about? Because I know that every single moment that you have when you're on a trip is showing you something. Just like life is a trip. But it's showing you something. So after I had that moment, that's when I had the conversation with my sister. After I got off the trip, I had a conversation with my sister, and she said, well, I guess I can have this conversation with you because I wasn't able to talk to you about this before, but yes, when we were little, we were like sexually molested, sexually assaulted by our dad, you know, like various multiple times. Like it was just ongoing. So her and I's childhood was really different because I forced myself to forget and like completely like fogged my memory whenever all this stuff would happen. I did some brujeria on myself and I didn't realize it until like I think last year was when I had a meditation with myself, and I realized that basically like I spelled myself to forget this stuff. And like it was just a form of protection or whatever, because my life would be totally different if I would have really lived with that pain every single moment. And I still kind of lived with that pain, but mentally as well. So he triggered that within me, and after that, that's when I realized, okay, this happened. And pretty much immediately after that, I cut my dad off. Yeah, so like my husband triggered that shit within me, and pretty much ever since then, our sex life has not been the same. It already kind of wasn't the same once I turned spiritual, but after that, like it just was not the same. And I had to go through lots of healing, and I'm still going through healing to like work on like my sexual energy, but it's definitely getting a lot better. But yeah, it was a very, very crazy thing to go through, and then to just realize, and then this is like, it's like this whole thing. But anyway, so yeah, he triggered that major trauma. So if you have any hidden trauma that like you don't even know about, but like if you can't really remember your childhood and it seems like something might be off, sometimes you not being able to be with your twin flame or find your twin flame, or y'all just butt heads or whatever, sometimes that's a form of protection. Like the universe is like, how about like you work on this wound a little bit, heal it, and then we'll give you this person in your life, because they might trigger you in a way that is like way too much for you to handle, because you haven't done that type of inner work yet. So I hope that I'm planting a seed for some people, and kind of showing people like maybe I should look deeper into like my own shit. One of the big things is that they will always I've seen this in every twin flame dynamic that I've come across. Somebody will usually have something that another person would consider a hard no. So for me, my husband was the only Hispanic guy that I've ever dated. Like all my exes were black. So I really didn't take my husband seriously when he was trying to pursue me, especially because of that fact. I was like, well, yeah, no, absolutely not. Like, it's not gonna work. Like, whatever. And it ended up working out better than ever. So clearly I was missing something. But there's always something. So whether it is like that person has kids and you always said like, no, I'm never gonna be with the person that has kids. It could be the race, they're not your preferred race, or like they're a race that you said that you would never date because like maybe like you've had stereotypes about like religious backgrounds and stuff like that, because that's another thing, is like religious backgrounds. Sometimes that is like a hard no for people, and your twin flame might have that. So it's like a gatekeeping mechanism. And if you can get past that discomfort, that is like you've walked through the gates of that twin flame healing, essentially, because that's the first little bit. It's like you got to get past that first little thing. Okay, some people it's like military or whatever type of job that they have. Like maybe you said, I'm not going to date no fucking trucker, but then this trucker come along, you're like, damn, he's everything that I wanted. He checks off every fucking box except he's a fucking trucker. Like, girl, get your trucker, get him. Like that's the universe telling you like, look, there's always going to be a little bit of a compromise, because you don't know what you want. You think you know what you want. Like everyone thinks that they know what they want until they see all their options. You only think that you know what you want because you haven't seen all your options. Okay, now to the fun part. Now that we've gotten past all the dark part, all the dark and deep parts, let's talk about the fun parts of knowing that someone is your twin flame, and that is the synchronicities, because the synchronicities be going crazy. Okay, there's always going to be a shit ton of synchronicities, because remember the runner, right? The runner is going to be shown so many times over and over and over and over and over again that this is your person, okay? Because they're not going to believe for the longest. For the longest, I did not believe that my husband was my twin flame. I said, I said, if I ask my pendulum and it tells me no, I am leaving you. And I was so fucking serious. And he knew I was serious. He was shitting bricks. He was like, oh shit, because look, call me crazy, but at least you're calling, right? I said, if I know that there is somebody here that is meant to be for me and it's not you, I'm gonna go find them. Which is crazy. I know I'm crazy detached, but you know, it is what it is. That was in the beginning of my shit. Now if it told me that we weren't twin flames, I'd be like, well, there's no fucking way, because all of the synchronicities I'm about to tell you, there's literally no way that it's not him. Okay, so birth chart. Okay, birth chart. There's going to be major synchronicities in your birth chart. Now, the synchronicities will vary, but I'm just going to tell you some of our synchronicities, okay? My husband is a Capricorn sun and a Cancer rising. I'm a Cancer sun and a Capricorn rising, okay? Our shit is flipped. When it comes to numerology, there's this thing called karmic debt number, which I've made a series about on TikTok. Go check it out if you haven't. But you calculate your karmic debt number, and my karmic debt number is 14. My husband's karmic debt number is 14 automatically because his birthday falls on the 14th. So we literally have the same karmic debt number, which means that we literally will face the similar obstacles when it comes to like freedom and stuff like that, because that's what the 14 is all about. It's like freedom. Sometimes your twin flame is going to challenge you, and sometimes y'all will be challenged together. Okay, so that's a major one, is like if you find certain synchronicities where it's like y'all have the same challenges, that's major, because it's like y'all are helping each other. Maybe you got a little bit of information of how to get over this portion of the challenge, and then he has a little more information, or she, whatever. Sorry, not being gender specific, because twin flame is just divine masculine and divine feminine, and has no gender, it has no whatever, it's just energy. So, you know, but I'm saying he because I'm with a man. I have my Chiron in Leo. My husband has his Chiron in Leo, and Chiron is like the biggest wound. It's like your childhood wound type shit. It's like the biggest wound that you pretty much are going to carry with you your whole life and try to work on your whole fucking life. We both have the same fucking Chiron. Okay, that's not it. That's not it. You thought that was it? That's not it. Our parents' birth chart. Okay, his mom, Virgo sun, Cancer moon. Me, Cancer sun, Virgo moon. Isn't that insane? Yeah, it's crazy, right? Wait till you hear this. My dad is a Taurus sun. And I don't know his moon sign, but honestly, if I probably looked it up, it would probably be a Capricorn. I would not be surprised. I'm probably going to look it up. I got to see. I just don't want to tap into his energy, you know what I mean? But I really do want to see, like, because I'm so curious. But anyway, either way, my dad is a Taurus sun. My husband is a Taurus moon. Like, so you see how like my sun sign is his mom's moon sign. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you see the synchronicity. I don't have to explain it. It's a little complicated when I try to explain it again. Anyways, parents' birth chart, even synchronicities there, okay? Not only that, with the parent shit, his mom and my mom have the same energetic signature. Which, if you don't know what an energetic signature is, have you ever met somebody and they reminded you exactly of someone else that you've met? Not necessarily their voice, not necessarily how they talk, but it's just how they act, like their energy. Like, you damn near like, whoa, like, do you know them? Like, did you copy their personality or something? Like, what the heck? Like, it's weird like, not necessarily mannerisms, it's just their energy. Like, I can't even explain it, but it's like they have everybody has an energetic signature. And my mom and my husband's mom have the same energetic signature. And yes, before you ask, it does drive me insane. It does. But you know what? It ain't my mama. Okay. I can't really say much because it's, you know, I don't want to cross a boundary, but yeah, it's a wee bit annoying, but it's okay. We deal. You know what helps me deal? Lots and lots of pheromones. Okay, shout out to my true allure. Shout out to 11th house pheromones. Use the code That Soul Glow for some money off. But yeah, pheromones help a lot, because pheromones help people to be nicer to you. So, I'm not saying that she's mean, but you know, I've already said too much. So yeah, anyway, pheromones. So if you have somebody that you just like, I wish I could not, but you can't not, you know, pheromones. Pheromones. Okay, anyway. So a twin flame relationship is tough. It is not for the weak at all, but it is so rewarding. It is so rewarding. The amount of downloads that my husband can help me to just put together. Somehow he helps me put it all together, even though he claims he's not as spiritual as me. He just gets it sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't. It's a balance, okay? It's all a balance. So just make sure that you're living life. If you're with somebody right now and you're not 100% sure if they're your twin flame, look at the synchronicities and just ask yourself deep down, do I really want to be with this person? Yes, twin flame relationships can be extremely triggering, and I'm here to debunk the whole romanticizing of it, because yes, it can be amazing, but it can be really triggering. And if you're not ready for the triggering part, you definitely ain't gonna feel that amazing part. You're gonna feel the amazingness for like 6 months tops, and once that little bit of erotic dies, you're gonna see. If you're not ready to be triggered and you're not ready to truly heal, you either won't ever meet your twin flame or it's not going to work out. And just remember that it can be your pet, and it can be your sibling, and it can be your parent, and it doesn't have to be romantic. It's triggering. I didn't say nothing about sex in this thing, because it don't have nothing to do with that. It has to do with the way that they trigger you to heal, the way that they show you your wounds, the way that they mirror your shadows. A pet can do this. A pet can definitely do this. The amount of lessons that I have learned from my dog, y'all know. So apparently I had another audio issue with the last clip that I was going to add into this episode. So you know what? We're going to roll with it. I take that as a sign from the universe that whatever I said in that last clip, maybe it wasn't needed. So we're going to do it again. One thing that I didn't mention is that yes, they're going to mirror your shadows, but just like the yin and yang sign has both black and white on both sides, light and dark, they're also going to mirror your light as well. Now, another thing that I do want to say is that most of the times the things that your twin flame is going to bring up to you is something that basically like your spirit team is wanting you to know. Okay, so don't take the things that they say personally. I always try to dive deeper and figure out the deeper meaning because of this. I know that it's a message from spirit, just like me needing to re-record is a message from spirit. Also, if you are truly meant to be with somebody, just know that there is no way in hell that you're not going to be with them. So if you're meant to be with your twin flame romantically in this lifetime, then that is exactly what's going to happen. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes you are not meant to be on the romantic path with your twin flame, and that's when they will incarnate as a pet or as a sibling or as a mother or father type of thing, or even just as a friend. Like you might not even feel any sexual attraction towards your twin flame because it's not about sex. Okay, so I just really want to make sure that y'all remember that before you go looking and searching for something that you might not ever find. And it's okay. Just manifest true love. Don't be so specific with titles and see what the universe brings your way. And while it would be amazing to have a relationship where the two of you are super deep in the spiritual side of life, more than likely, if you have a connection where both of y'all are like crazy spiritual, I'm talking about doing rituals and all of that stuff, more than likely that's not your twin flame. And I'm going to tell you why. There is a balance. So there's a divine masculine and a divine feminine. And who's more spiritual, it will really just depend on like who's tapped into what energy more. But I will say that there needs to be a balance of somebody being super into the spiritual world and somebody really in the physical. Okay, so like somebody needs to protect you spiritually, energetically. That's going to be the one that's doing the cleansing rituals. And then there needs to be somebody who is doing like the physical protection, like making sure that all the doors are locked and that you guys have really good security cameras and, you know, maybe firearms, you know, whatever it is that keeps you safe physically, you need to have that as well, because relying too much on the spiritual without the physical, that's where you get fucked up. Okay, and then the same vice versa. some people have just physical protection, no spiritual protection. They still getting fucked up. That's why. Balance. Okay, if one partner is more connected to the material world and one partner is connected more to the spiritual world, that's how you can really tell that that's probably a twin flame connection. It's got that good balance. Now, this doesn't mean that they're not gonna want to partake in your activities. Like, if you want them to do a ritual with you and they're down, by all means do that. Like, if you want to get them more involved, you can do that. What I'm trying to say is, do not try to get them to release the foot that they have in the material physical world, okay? Because you guys definitely need that. And I learned this from experience, and this is why I'm saying this. So as you guys know, I have mentioned before that I have a workshop called Survival Mode Off. And as I've been progressing more and more and feeling what exactly turning survival mode off does, I've realized that essentially what it does, and I've renamed the workshop, now it's called Survival Mode Off, Divine Feminine On, because that's what I realized that it was doing. Like, my husband, he would be doing all of these things like security precautions, like double locking the doors, even though it's daytime, we're inside, it's okay, you know, like you can do just one lock. He was like, no, we need to lock both of them for protection or whatever. And I was like, it's because you're in survival mode. We're just kind of going back and forth, because he was like, it's not survival mode, it's just like common sense. And I was like, no, that's survival mode. And then, you know, anytime I have something like that with my husband, because, you know, I said I always analyze things. So I went and analyzed the situation, and I said, well, maybe he's supposed to be like that and I'm supposed to be like this. And that's when it clicked for me. So survival mode off is only for divine feminines, not women. Remember, divine feminine, divine masculine, it doesn't have a gender. It's just for divine feminines, because divine masculines, they need survival mode on. It's literally a part of their nature. To turn it off would go against their nature, you know? So this is a realization that I had, and I am going to tell my students just to let them know, because there are some people that I feel like were struggling with the workshop, and I think that's why they might be more in their masculine energy, and I'm not sure if they want to turn their divine feminine energy on. That's really just up to them. But I do want to say that I think it's really, really helpful for the divine feminines to turn survival mode off, because it helps you flow, receive with ease, stop feeling like the government is literally torturing us, and, you know, really get out of victim mode and flow with life and feel like life is working out for you. Okay, so if you're interested in that, check it out at thatsoulglow.com. You'll see it right on the front page. But things like that are really important, and that's why I love having a twin flame relationship, because I feel like he just helps me to get certain ideas out. And I've really been trying to figure out how to tell more people about this amazing workshop that I've created, but at the same time, not quite sure how to market it. And now I see, okay, this is exactly what it does. Because I put myself through my own workshop. I know it's very transformative, but I just had no idea, like, what exactly does it do? Like, I know I feel free. I know I can, you know, navigate through harder situations better. I know that I can receive better. But, like, what exactly is it doing? That's what it's doing. Turned my divine feminine energy on and really allowed me to call in everything that I've been wanting. Like, it's just slowly but surely building up more and more and more. So anyways, that is why you need a twin flame in your life, if you have one. If you have your twin flame, if you're with your twin flame, stick it out through the hard times, because there definitely are going to be hard times, especially when you're still realizing what exactly is happening, aka the universe is forcing you to grow through this person. But stick it out, because it's definitely worth it. It's definitely rewarding. So that is all that I have for twin flame relationships. If you guys have any more questions about the twin flame dynamic, or any more questions about twin flames in general, I would love to answer that in another podcast episode. So make sure that you write in to the show, thatsoulglow.com/the Healing Hotline. This is your host, Jessica Tranbarger, signing out.